5 tip to be a better, more efficient dealer: whether or not to call out the bet sizes. Generally speaking, you do not want to do this. Poker is considered a visual game, okay? And when you say an amount, a player could hear it differently, could confuse a player, and also it sort of aids a player. And you're not supposed to be aiding players, at least that's the theory. Now, it goes back to the question: how fast of a dealer do you want to be? Okay, and the lower limits, which is 1-2 no limit, 2-4 limit, 3-6 limit, the low limits, I call out the bet sizes all the time. Why? Because it quickens the action, right? Because if you don't do it, guy's gonna be sitting there. He's gonna be looking around. Is that 22? Is that 25? How much is that? How much is that, dealer? It's a time saver. A guy bets, you say the amount, boom, it goes around the table. It is so much faster. Okay? Now, when I deal any higher limit than that, I do not announce the bet sizes. I do not. I say raise. I call out the actions: raise, fold, call, all in, thank you. That's it. And as you get even higher and higher limits, you say less and less. You become more window dressing as a dealer as you get higher and higher in stakes. But most of the time, we're dealing the low limit stuff. Uh, Use your discretion. You could either not announce the bet sizes and be a lot slower dealer, or you can announce them. It's up to you. To me, lower limit, announce it. Higher limit, don't announce it. Oh, and one more thing: if somebody's all in, don't announce anything. Don't touch the chips. Just let them be all in. Okay, don't do anything. This, you will get called on even in the lower limits. You're not supposed to say how much it is, count it down. No, let the players decide on that. Okay, if the player says how much is it, then do your thing when it's an all in. But when it's not an all in, it's a bet. All right, low limit, count it. And another thing, even in the high limits, if somebody's making a bet, spread it out. Make it easy to count. Don't let chips be underneath chips. Okay, very important. Or you could stack them. Just don't say the amount. Okay, if somebody makes a $278 bet, or they can't. Well, in 2-5 no limit, you can't do dollars. So 275 bet, and greens and reds and so forth. Make it obvious, but don't say the amount unless they ask in the higher limits. Okay, so it's just a little piece of advice. Number 7, and I think this is pretty important, although probably there's a lot of people out there that don't think about this, which is better physical movements. I guess I could say it for a dealer at the table. Um, Physical motions that are better. For example, actions on you, or actions on you. Which one's better? Finger pointing or like this? This is it's a little gentler than a finger point, and we're kind of all guilty of this, I mean, I've just came back from a long night of dealing and I pointed fingers too, but I try to remember, and something that I was taught in dealing school, which is, if you really got to direct the action, it's better to do an open-handed action to you than action to you. It's less aggressive, I guess you could say. And actually, a lot of times you don't have to say anything. Just look. A look is even powerful. Just looking at somebody and they're like, "Oh, my turn," right? And you don't have to do any physical mumble jumbles with the hands. You just look at them, but don't stare at them. That's kind of rude. Try not to stare at people. If you have to look at them, look at their hands, look at their cards, look below them, but don't look at them. That's also kind of aggressive. Yeah. Number 8, and this one is sort of house dependent, depending on what the house rules are and how strict your poker room is. Is there's always a question: how much should a dealer help a player out without aiding them? Um, our room is likes to protect the players as much as possible. We're a loud room. We're an open room, and that's the culture that we have. Now, I'm not saying that dealers aid players. No, not at all. But um, we try to do our best to reduce angle shooting. There's always a balance between angle shooting and player mistakes, and there's always a balance there. There's some rooms that are very, this is the rule, this is it. There's some rooms where well, this is a rule. You keep going this way and this way, and there's some rooms that have no rules. We're not a room that has no rules, and we're not a room that's like this. We're a room that has some leeway. So it's hard to really give you a tip or trick on number 8, except to say that go with the culture of the room. If the culture of your room is strict, be strict. If the culture of the room is half strict, be half strict. If the culture of the room is open, be open. You're an employee of the poker room. You're not an employee of your own room. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're in the box dealing, that you are working for the man. You're not working for yourself. So number 9, and this goes when you're not in the box, is if you're on break, go on break. If you're on brush meaning you're working in the room but you're not dealing. But if you're on break, leave the room. Don't stay. It's better that way. And if you clock out and you're out, go out. Don't stick around. Okay, it's a smarter way to go. Problems can happen when you're in the room. You're expected to work when you're in the room. So, one of those things. And it goes to another thing I wanted to partake to you dealers, which is it's better to be under the radar than to be on the radar. What does that mean? That means you can't get shot down if they don't see you. Out of sight, out of mind. There's a reason that us dealers can survive 10, 13 years. All right? And it's not because we're on the radar and can be shot down. Okay, I've survived a lot of coups, me and a lot of other dealers, and it's not by accident. It's attitude, and it's staying away from the radar. And last but not least, number 10, attitude is very important. You always want to have a good attitude at work. You want to be pleasant with the employees. And actually, you know what? You don't want to treat anybody poorly, even nasty people, even people that don't tip you, even people that you may not like. There's no reason to burn bridges with people that don't are they're stiffs, or they're grumpy, whatever. The best remedy for that is to treat them well, treat them nicely. Sometimes you'll be surprised. We have a few players in our room that dealers don't like. They don't tip. They're not friendly. Maybe they don't tip. But you know what? I treat them all very well, and they recognize that. And once in a while, they'll surprise you, and they'll throw something. It's just being professional. Just be professional. So that's about it. I think this is gonna be the last one. I don't want to do top 10 lists forever. I'm kind of bored with it now. So I think 3 is more than enough. So you combine all these, you got 30 tips on being a better, more efficient, more effective dealer, and surviving and doing well. And hey, I wish you all well out there. Hope you all deal well and get lots of great tips. And I am tired as hell, so we're gonna end it here. Cheers. Subscribe, click the thumbs up, comment down below, and stay tuned. You never know what you're gonna get. Dealing in a desert. Signing off.